30 days ago, Mark Spears' stunning homage to Amazing Spider-Man 601 dominated the charts. 60 days back, Absolute Batman #1 was reigning champion. 90 days ago, Image Comics' The Beauty was setting the market ablaze. Now, let's take a deep dive into the market today and see how these books are performing. This is your 30, 60, 90 look back. This is a part of the show that's called 30, 60, 90s. We take a look at books that were hot a month ago, 2 months ago, and then finally 3 months ago. As you can see from the screen right now, there's 3 books there that really two of the 3 I think people are still talking about today. The third one I think has cooled off, but again, you never know what's going to happen in the future. So let's go ahead and take a look at these books. Our first book in the list here is Mark Spears' Monsters #2, the Ultimate Comics ASM 601 Homage. This was limited to only 500 copies. This is from Keen Spot, and this book came out in December 2nd is when it made its mark. The top weekly sale of the book was at $60, and 67 units were sold. That was a growth of 44%. The raws were going for $52, and there were no slabs at the time. Tell me your thoughts on this cover.
So I was just going through some books to send, and I came across my ASM of this, the J. Scott Campbell cover. And I personally really like these homage covers. So this is one of my favorites that Spears has done in that Monsters run for sure.
Now, one of the things that we're going to talk about later when we start talking a little bit more about Mark Spears' books is that this book is issue number 2 in the Keen Spot comics distribution. There is a Kickstarter that was created, and this was actually part of the first issue, not the second issue. So let's take a look at how this book has performed since then. So here we are. The book is still tracking at the same. It's tracking even higher. It's been over a month now, and it's selling for $75, and $77 is the fair market value of this book. So it's still hot, even though it's only been 30 days.
Yeah, for sure. And Mark Spears, I mean, when do we get to the bottom, really? I don't know if it's going to happen for a while.
Mm-hmm. But I agree, and there's a lot coming through the pipe. I can tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the sales that we've seen happen in this book. And we go to our sales data. There are no slabs, so this is going to make this a little faster, which I'm happy about. And roughly, the book has maintained that $75, $90 price tag. However, it was at an all-time high at $150 in November. So late November, this book was super, super expensive. And when I mean by super expensive, I'm talking about $150 it was going for as opposed to $75 now. So before the time frame that we talked about, this book was at a high of $150. It's now dropped half its price.
Yeah, and that could just be, an adjustment for, people having access to more of them, or they got their orders. I noticed when I was going through the Keen Spot ordering in previews, a lot of their books are limited print runs. So, and they're allocated sometimes too. So,
yeah, and this one only has 500 copies attached to it because this is an exclusive retailer variant to Ultimate Comics, so they had the rights to it. So it wasn't something that you could go to a shop to pick up. You had to order this through Ultimate Comics website. And then, if you want to find it in the third party like eBay or something like that, then you could purchase it at that second, that secondary market. That's that book there. Let's go back to our list. It's a book that I think we've talked ad nauseum, but to be completely honest, That's just how it is, right?
Still rolling.
Absolute Batman
Still rolling.
#1, back in November 4th, this book had a weekly sales of $133 at 9.8. Weekly units was at 114. It only had a growth of about 5%. However, the most common raws were $24, while slabs was at $110 at a 9.8. We talked a lot about Absolute Batman, and I think we're finally reached that point where we're about to get issue 4 coming out very soon. I believe it comes out this week, issue 4, and it had a nice little cliffhanger in issue 3. I'll admit to that part. However, I think everybody has a copy now, and they're happy.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think kind of what's happening is if you look at like a blockbuster movie, it has a great opening and a great second week, but then word of mouth starts to get out to people that wouldn't usually go to this movie or buy this comic, and they're like, "Oh, you know what? I kind of like Batman. I'll buy this book and just see what it's all about." And I think that's is
Yeah.
what is carrying this book a lot now.
Let's take a look at how this book is projecting now. It's been 2 months since that original run. All right. It's $31. That's the fair market value and the last recorded sale. So it's practically the same price. The 9.8 dropped a little bit of $113. If you take a look at wow, a 9.9 sold for $600.
Oof.
Somebody got that one big.
Wow.
But if you look at it, the price has maintained. It hasn't really gone anywhere. So that's a good thing, right?
I'm putting together a submission now, so maybe I'll send both of my copies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a couple as well. I have the Noir right there, which I think that's my favorite right now, the Noir edition. So if you look at the sales data, let's just take a quick peek there while we're at it. We can see here that this book is still selling. Like, it's still selling, and it's selling at that price tag around $40, $39.99, $34.99, $39.99, $34, $38. That's where it's leveling at. There cannot possibly be that many slabs, though. Let's just take a look here. Wow, there's already 100 slabs, and there's 2 9.9s that are recorded and sold. That is impressive.
Yeah,
but we're looking at 110, 119, 110, 110, $100, 104. So it's about $100. Not bad for 9.8s.
No.
And then, of course, there's 9.6, there's 9.4s, 9.2.
Oh,
okay. And even the 9.2 sold for $60. That's not bad. Double the price. Mm-hmm. So overall, Batman, Absolute Batman, I think is going to be hot for a little while. I don't think it's going to die out anytime soon. But only time will tell, as they say. Let's go to our last book in this list, and that is The Beauty, #1. This came out in 2015 for Image Comics. During the week of October, the first week of October, this book was at a top weekly sale of $115 at a 9.8. It sold 35 units. It had a growth of 164%. The raws were going for about $8. That's very fine. The slabs were going for about $82 at 9.8. This book became hot because it was optioned. It was optioned for a series. It's a very interesting concept. It's one that I think will work well. I believe it's a TV series. I don't think it's a movie, if I remember. What's your thoughts on this book right now?
So this is a book that I remember seeing, but missed it, and was just kind of like, well, I'll see what happens with it, and just kind of never got around to getting it. So it'll be interesting to see if it slowly starts to sink down now.
Yeah. Oh, I think you're about to see that right now.
Yeah. That would not be a surprise.
The last sold book was $15. 9.4s are the most commons are near mint at $34. 9.8 is going for about $82. It has sunk a little bit. However, from its all-time high of $115 back in September, this book hasn't sold a book since October.
Yeah, And if it keeps dropping and it got to like case cost, plus a little bit, that would be a great time to pick it up if you're into
Mhm.
that type of TV spec type thing.
It is a good time now to kind of get prepared for it. The thing is, because it's an option, we just don't know how long it's going to take. Just look at what we're talking about with Lobo and Jason Momoa. It took approximately about 2 years for the news to come out of something we already knew was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Same thing as like something is killing the children like that. Who knows when that would ever happen.
Yeah, and it's happening. We know that. We just
Yeah.
don't know when it's happening. Mhm. So that is our 30, 60, 90 for today. I said it was going to be short, you see?
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Um Overall, these books are good books. I like them all. I think the beauty has potential. Um Obviously Absolute Batman, what's to and Mark Spears Monster. What's to say? There's nothing else to say about those books,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Like I said before, I'm just looking forward to when the new previews that are up for order now start hitting,
mhm.
because stores will have heavily ordered all these Mark Spears books then, and we'll see if the market can absorb them.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more comic content. Check out these other videos for even more insight, and I'll see you at the next one. Excelsior.